Hello and welcome to my office. This is definitely one of my favorite places in my house. An office can definitely feel the opposite, especially if you're here for work, but because I use this as a space for work, making videos, streaming, and working on other projects, I genuinely love being here. Hello, my name is Evan. If you're here because of the office organization tips video that I made recently, welcome back. If you're new here, nice to meet you. About a year and a half ago, I did a setup tour and I've updated some things and released that new organization tips video. And in the comments of that video, I had a lot of questions on specifics of the setup. So that's why we're doing another one. I'll start off with what I've changed and then the thought process behind all of that, because it took a while to really figure out how I wanted to set everything up. And then after that, we'll go over everything else on my desk. All right, so before we had these plywood tops here, we had a white top, and those desks were from Branch. I was definitely very influenced by one of the homies, Exhale, on Instagram. I loved the white tops, but oh my God, it showed everything. My cat would walk across, you'd see paw prints. If you put your hand on it, you would see your handprint. And while it looked so good, it just drove me crazy trying to keep it clean. It was also really hard to white balance when I would shoot certain videos because I have beige shutters. So if I would shut one and then let light come through a window naturally, the difference of Kelvin temperatures just was really hard to figure out in camera and also in post. That being said, the desk legs and frame are some of the best looking, in my opinion, and also the most sturdy that you can find. When I started looking for a wood top, I was shocked by how expensive actual wood desks are. I looked into a one-piece wood top from brands like Semi-Exact, for example, and yeah, it was very expensive. And we needed two of them, so it would double that price. Alternatively, I looked into butcher block style tops, and I personally wasn't a big fan of the look. I really do like a one-piece look a lot better. Being influenced by my friends again, I started asking around for advice, and two of my friends recommended this plywood top here. It looks modern, it won't warp, and it's much cheaper than an actual single piece of wood. Went to a lumber yard and got a 60 by 60 plywood top, and the dimensions we needed were a 60 by 30, so it worked out perfectly. I have been so happy with these. It was under $200 to get the top and all of the tools and materials needed to finish them and stain them. A big part of replacing the old desk was to get rid of the cable management box that was in the middle. While it was helpful, it was a bit of an eyesore. Now that I didn't have something to funnel my cables into, I wanted to get an audio interface that had mic inputs and all the other inputs besides the headphone jack on the backside. I loved my old interface, and I wanted to stick with the same brand because of the functionality on the interface itself, but I really wanted to have a mic input on the backside. I purchased the PreSonus Quantum HD2. It's a mouthful. And man, this thing is so awesome. It has tubes to power my speakers with a little more power, so they sound super good, and also the power that goes to the mics is improved. It's been a pretty big increase in quality all around. Everything sounds so rich, and I won't even front. I really didn't even have to mess with the EQ of this mic that I'm using currently, so that's a huge plus for me. Because I don't have a cable box anymore, I was able to get a USB hub, which I've been trying to do for quite some time, and it worked out really well because one of my good friends, Juan, designed this beautiful USB hub. It also doubles as a tray, and the best part is I can use this cool little Lindy cable now. All right, now that I've gone over all the new stuff, I'm gonna touch on all the things on my desk that I probably won't change unless they break. Starting off with this big monitor. It is a 34 ultra wide inch from Samsung. Yeah, 2 monitors, better for workflow, I get it, but I really do enjoy the look of one monitor instead of having multiple. I'm also an Alt plus Tab warrior, so I'm very efficient with this, and I would argue it's better for productivity when you don't have distractions. If needed, I can do the split screen mode so I can have multiple screens up for reporting or other projects that I'm working on. The monitor is mounted on a HX from Ergotron. It is on the pricier side, but it is definitely worth it if you have a big wide monitor. Before the HX, I tried out the LX, which is just the tier right below. And when I would type, the monitor would shake. I ended up getting the more expensive one. And if you're on the fence, just swipe. I'm not going to go into all the specs of my PC, but the case is from NZXT and I have an i9 processor as well as a 1080 Ti graphics card. Still going strong. I don't game all that much, but when I do, the card performs really well and it still renders all of the videos I'm making in 4K, so I'm super happy with it. One of my favorite things about my PC is this aftermarket front panel that I got from Etsy, which gives my PC the ability to have a front vent, which it didn't have before, and I know NZXT gets a lot of grief for that, but it has dropped my temps 10 to 20 C on average, which is pretty wild. I touched on this subject in my office organization tips video, but the cable management system that I'm using is a mix of what came with my old branch desk as well as the Linus Tech Tips brackets. These magnetic clips are so easy to use, they look really nice, and if you ever need to rework anything, it's really easy to just kind of adjust as you go. For work and video calls, I am using an OBSBot 4K webcam, and I love this thing. There's a lot of features in the native software like shutter speed, ISO, temperature, etc. So there is a lot of room for adjusting to your preference, but it don't make me look prettier. I don't know what it is, but I really don't like the feeling of office chair wheels on carpet. I know these chairs look uncomfortable, but they're not. They're pretty nice. I'm well aware that my body would probably benefit from something like a Herman Miller, but we've had these chairs for, I think, 4 years now, and they've been great. The chairs are from NoHo, and they provide pretty good support, but most of all, I think they just look really nice. Some people might be confused why I don't have anything on my desk, but I do have a little cup made by one of my friends at Non-Porous Ceramics, and it holds just some keyboard tools and pens. When we need storage, we're using the built-in cabinets to my right here, and mostly that's storing all my keyboard stuff, camera gear, and has some books and other things. Segue, and the reason why I'm making all these videos is my keyboard, the centerpiece of my desk. I have a handful of keyboards, but the one I mostly use is this Singa Unicorn here. Green is obviously one of my favorite colors, so I went for GMK Watermelon. Right now, it's on top of a desk mat from Canon Keys. I love how simple this mat is, as well as the texture. I really don't like the really super smooth mats. They kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. And then my mouse is a Logitech MX3S for silent. I mean, come on, how good does this sound? The art piece behind me is from artist Nick Dolan. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but he's a beast. Last but certainly not least is the audio gear. All of this is running through the PreSonus audio interface, which makes it very easy to manage. For example, I am able to cut out the music for streaming, so when I upload the VOD, it doesn't get flagged for DCMA. Right now, I'm speaking into a Shure SM48. This is what I use primarily for YouTube videos, but when I'm working and streaming, I have a Sennheiser MKH50. This is mounted on a boom arm from Gatorworks, which is perfect for my current needs. I also am not trying to be the guy with a microphone on Zoom calls. It's definitely a conversation I'm not trying to have with coworkers or my clients. And onto the speakers, I'm using these Genelec 8010A monitors, and my God, do they look good. They sound great. They're on the more expensive side, but firm believer in buy ones. Also, best looking speakers for your desk, in my opinion. To try and dampen some of the echoing that I get in this room, because I'm obviously situated in the corner, I've put up these sound panels that I got on Amazon. I've just attached them with command strips, and they come in a couple different colors and sizes. So if you're curious, it's really helped a lot. That about wraps everything up. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. The current video is part of a mini series where I'm going over my office and my desk setup. I'm working on my next video, which goes over how I set up all of my streaming gear, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. But If you're curious and want to watch or learn more about how I've actually organized and thought through this space, I'm going to link it at the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching, sticking around, supporting. It's crazy. I'm floored with the support. So just want to say thanks again, and I will see y'all in the next one.